All right. Thank you, Mr. Pullman. Up next, the P3 Impact Award recognizes highly impactful partnerships, which we'll present tonight at the Concordia Awards. One of the finalists of this award, Energize the Chain, aims to provide children with effective vaccines. In fact, millions of children die annually from vaccine-preventable diseases. The problem is not the availability of vaccines, but the inability to provide effective vaccines due to the vulnerability of the vaccine cold chain. ETC recognizes that the key to building an effective supply chain lies in building public-private partnerships that leverage the strengths and capacities of existing systems, technologies, and infrastructure, a sustainable and scalable solution. By building partnerships with major telecom companies, ministries of health, global health organizations, NGOs, and other private sector industry partners, ETC strengthens and extends countrywide systems for delivery, storage, and refrigeration of vaccines and essential medicines. It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage a good friend of mine, Dr. Harvey Rubin, professor of medicine at the University of Pennsylvania and founder of Energize the Chain.
Thank you very much, Matt. Well, Matt gave you some pretty sobering statistics. Let me embellish on that a little bit. So Matt was right. More than 1 million children a year die of vaccine-preventable diseases. And if you calculate that, it's about 1 every 20 seconds. So by the end of this 5-minute talk, this whole first row has been wiped out. That's about half of our entering kindergarten class. So think of a world that could actually take care of half of our entering kindergarten class if we only were able to provide vaccines in the developing world. And those are deaths, a tragic, tragic event in some family. But think of all the kids who don't get vaccinated but don't die but develop really horrendous diseases. So mom has to stay at home. The burden of a sick child falls predominantly on women. So if we can keep kids vaccinated, we empower women to leave the home or stay at home and do what they're supposed to do. Imagine kids who are sick. It puts an enormous burden on the health system. These are huge amounts of dollars. Imagine kids who are sick who don't spend time in school. So the ripple effect of keeping a child vaccinated is enormous. The World Health Organization wrote a paper a short while ago analyzing the effect of vaccinating children, and it goes everything from empowering women to keeping kids in school and in the workforce, all the way to preventing failed states. So when we talk about vaccinating a child, we're not just talking about keeping them from getting whooping cough or measles or mumps or pneumonia. We're talking about enormous consequences around the world. So what's the big deal? Why don't we just go to the refrigerator, take out, I took this out of my clinic the other day. This is a vaccine vial for diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. Guess what? This vaccine is totally useless. Why? Because it's raised its temperature above 2 to 8 degrees. You have to keep vaccines cold. As Matt said, that's the cold chain. If you don't, the vaccine is inactive. So just plug the refrigerator in and go and do your job. Well, it turns out that there is no plug to plug into in the refrigerator. If we roll the video, please, you'll see behind me the real problem. So what happens is that you can't keep this cold in the developing world. There's no power. But that's actually a myth. Can you still hear me? There's plenty of power in the developing world, and it's all in the private sector. The private sector cell tower companies keep the power on, and if they lose the power, their business goes away. So we just said, here's a simple solution. Build a vaccine shelter in the area of the cell tower, co-locate the cell tower with the Ministry of Health. We work with ministries of health, and then use the power that's constantly on at the cell tower to power up the vaccine refrigerator. And this is a video from Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, we have 312 towers supplying vaccines. We vaccinated about 500,000 vaccines were delivered in Zimbabwe. We're moving into Ghana, where we're in the Upper East, Upper West, and Volta region. We do this all in partnership with the cell tower companies, with USAID, with Gavi. We were just recently awarded a Gavi Pacesetter Award. Our private sector partners are Econet and American Tower. And we also partner with universities. So in Ghana, we're partnering with Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to do a health impact study. We're strengthening the health system in these countries. We also partner with a drone company. Imagine there are no roads in many of these places. So we have a small startup company out of the University of Michigan called Vayu, a vertical takeoff and landing. We can deliver vaccines and pick up samples. So this is a partnership between the private sector, us, the public sector, all with the same goal in mind of keeping kids vaccinated. We call that the fifth child, because 1 in 5 children in the world go unvaccinated. We have a partnership with Johnson & Johnson, who are helping support us in some operational dollars. We have a partnership with the Yale School of Management, who are helping us do an impact, Wharton School of Social Impact. So all of these partners have recognized the importance, the global importance of keeping vaccines cold. And this is an example. The question is, why would the private sector even do this? Well, they put up this sign. It says, powered by Econet, which is a major cell tower company in Zimbabwe. And they generously put our logo up on there as well. The private sector says better brand recognition, increased security at their cell towers. They do fulfill their corporate social responsibility. They work well with the community. And so that is really the take-home lesson. If we can find, as you just heard, this mutual understanding of what needs to be done that has a global impact, not just in the health of the child, then we can all work together and solve a major, major problem. And so with that, I would like to finish and thank you all for coming, and thank you to Concordia for really putting on this remarkable session. Thank you very much.